Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Meghan McCain crushes Joy Behar over National Anthem on her first day on The View. Meghan McCain has replaced Jedidiah Bila as the token conservative woman on The View. On day one, McCain squared off against Joy Behar over the National Anthem protests. "If you are a public servant, you are supposed to enforce the Constitution. For Vice President Pence and the President to tell people and almost demand people not exercise their constitutional rights, that's very un-American," said Sunny Hostin. "She does know that Trump is a president, not a king, right?" McCain responded by expressing how important the flag is for some people, including her father, John McCain. "I think we can have a conversation about both things while still respecting what the national anthem and the American flag mean to people like me," said McCain. Joy Behar then claimed that soldiers die for Kaepernick's right to disrespect the flag. "That doesn't sound right." Hostin then claimed that it is not disrespectful to kneel during the national anthem. "However, most of America agrees that it is disrespectful. I left today's Colts game because of POTUS, and I will not dignify any event that disrespects our soldiers, our flag, or our national anthem," tweeted Mike Pence. "Are you sick of people disrespecting the flag?" Kathy Griffin is back with a brand new fake Trump head. It's awful. Kathy Griffin made headlines all over the country when she took a photo shoot with a decapitated Trump head. She lost her job at CNN and had a total meltdown. Now she is back, and apparently hasn't learned her lesson. She showed up to an AIDS support show wearing a mask of President Trump. "I'm going to spill the f***ing tea. I was part of an international scandal, under federal investigation for 2 months. My sister died, my dog died, and my mother turned on me. My mother took Sean Hannity's side. She was a little drunk," said Griffin at an AIDS support show. She attacked a number of other people as CNN's Anderson Cooper. She narrated a supposed letter to Cooper from one of her fans. "Dear Anderson, from one homer to another, you're a fickle F-gaunt. Really? Not supporting and backing Kathy Griffin after she had your back for years. Even to talk about your CCK sucking in her comedy back when you were still a closeted queen. And another thing, Anderson, Homo Rule 101, you always back your fag hag," said Griffin. She also attacked Democratic sexual predator Harvey Weinstein. "The Weinstein thing is just f***ing unbelievable, but I'm not afraid to say anything because I don't appear in movies ever and no one will ever put me in one. That guy seems to be what's called a rapist. I'm using it as a broad term. There's a lot of them and they are everywhere. So it's time we started to f***ing look out for each other because this SHT has been going on for way too long," said Griffin. ESPN anchor who called Trump a white supremacist finally gets suspended after doing something even worse. ESPN anchor Jemele Hill angered a lot of people when she called President Trump a white supremacist. Donald Trump is a white supremacist who has largely surrounded himself with other white supremacists. "The height of white privilege is being able to ignore his white supremacy, because it's of no threat to you," tweeted Hill. "Well, it's a threat to me. Trump is the most ignorant, offensive president of my lifetime. His rise is a direct result of white supremacy. Period," she wrote. While many wanted her fired for this, ESPN did nothing to discipline her. However, she wouldn't stop, and now even ESPN has had enough. On October 9, Hill wrote a series of tweets encouraging the Cowboys to boycott. Cowboys have a huge national following. Lot of black and brown folks are Cowboys fans. What if they turn their backs on them? Tweeted Hill. This play always work. Change happens when advertisers are impacted. If you feel strongly about JJ's statement, boycott his advertisers, she tweeted. However, she backtracked. "Just so we're clear, I'm not advocating an NFL boycott. But an unfair burden has been put on players in Dallas and Miami with Anthem directives," she wrote. Even though she literally just told them to boycott. ESPN responded by suspending Hill for 2 weeks. Jemele Hill has been suspended for 2 weeks for a second violation of our social media guidelines. She previously acknowledged letting her colleagues and company down with an impulsive tweet. In the aftermath, all employees were reminded of how individual tweets may reflect negatively on ESPN and that such actions would have consequences. Hence this decision, wrote ESPN in a statement. CNN's Symone Sanders says that white people aren't allowed to insult black NFL players. CNN commentator Symone Sanders squared off against Ben Ferguson over the National Anthem protests. According to Sanders, it is not acceptable for white people to have an opinion on an issue regarding black NFL players. Ferguson started. "As long as the NFL is consistently coming out there disrespecting this country, I expect the President of the United States of America to not attend an event where people are disrespecting the United States of America and those that gave the ultimate sacrifice," said Ferguson. "I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. You have a duty, an obligation as President of the United States of America to leave a situation where people are basically giving the middle finger to the men and women that have fought and protected this country," said Ferguson. "No one's giving the finger," responded Sanders. "That is false and you should be ashamed to be perpetuating this lie. There are veterans and folks who are saying that these players have a right. No, you don't get to. Ben, white people did not get to tell blacks folks or anybody else what is an acceptable form of protest," said Sanders. "Not everything's about race, Symone," responded Ferguson. "Maybe not for you, it is. But for folks who are protesting police brutality, it absolutely is about race," said Sanders. "Are you sick of these disgusting attacks on white people?" He is the one that's winning, ESPN host makes a sad confession about President Trump. President Trump is doing such a great job at calling out liberal hypocrisy that ESPN Stephen A. Smith is declaring his defeat. Mike Pence recently stormed out of a Colts game after players kneeling during the national anthem. "I asked at VP Pence to leave stadium if any players kneeled, disrespecting our country. I am proud of him," and at Second Lady Karen, tweeted President Trump afterwards. "The president has successfully gone about the business of hijacking the issue," said Smith. Smith went on to claim that Trump changed a protest about police brutality to patriotism. "In the end, what it really comes down to is the president has successfully hijacked this issue. He's turned it into an issue about patriotism and beyond. He's catering to his base in the process, and the biggest thing he's doing is he's pulling it all off, hiding behind these issues when, in my opinion, his real agenda is going after an NFL community that didn't let him in that good old boys club," said Smith. "He is the one that's winning because he's turned this into something that the players didn't intend to. So they're going to have to find a different mechanism to have their voices heard, because Trump has won this round," said Smith. Bill O'Reilly just destroyed PC Nitwits for not knowing the true history of Columbus Day. Former Fox News host has made a profitable sideline through his Killing series of books. Harvard-educated O'Reilly took his historical know-how recently and applied to how liberals are currently killing courageous navigator Christopher Columbus by killing Columbus Day. Wrote Bill in a column on conservative site The Hill, in Los Angeles County, "The holiday of Columbus Day will soon vanish. The Board of Supervisors has replaced it with Indigenous Peoples Day. The reason, Christopher Columbus was oppressive." He continued, "Right now we have to deal with places like Los Angeles County, New York City, Denver and Albuquerque, New Mexico, disrespecting old Chris and, by extension, Many Italian Americans who celebrate Columbus Day as an ethnic holiday because the explorer was born in Genoa in 1451. He continued, for those who admire Christopher Columbus, there is a feeling that the PC nitwits know little about him, and that is most likely the case. First of all, Indigenous Peoples Day might sound good on the campus of UC Berkeley, but it may be troublesome. Yes, some native tribes were enlightened societies, but many were not. After interindigenous battles, torture and enslavement were often on the menu for the losers. While admitting the fact that Columbus did have slaves, OReilly stated that mostly Columbus was a brilliant navigator who opened up the world for travel. No small achievement. He added, "We now live in a time where severely misguided people with little frame of reference are dictating how history should be told and what Americans have a right to see and hear. And if you disagree with them, then you, yourself, are oppressive. And they'll cover up your statue." OReilly concluded, Christopher Columbus was not a villain and does not deserve the vilification the PC police are heaping upon him. Every person on the planet has done bad things, but it is the totality of a human being that should be the litmus test. Soon, the loons will come for the slaveholders George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. In fact, the Dallas School Board is now debating their diminishment right now. The legacy of America is in big trouble. Happy Columbus Day. Do you think Bill is right?